Yo, what's up? It's your boy Currency 365. Hope you guys are doing well. Legends never die. They stay in our hearts. If you want to support us, click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and also you can come down here and hit the join button under the video or in our channel section. And you can also join our Patreon, patreon.com/currency365. And we also have Cash App and also PayPal for support if you want to sow some seeds. Peace out. God bless. Enjoy the video and keep the movement going. Legends. Bye.
By the way, that I say still remains to be seen. I think, in my opinion, the Supreme Court tries to be as fair as possible. To a degree, they don't always rule in the favor. Sometimes it seems like they get in partisan politics, by the way. But the Constitution, it appears as though, these entities, they're trying to, we obviously know they're pushing certain agendas. This is not a coincidence. And in pushing these agendas, they're able to weaken you. And it's leading to, if you understand what their modus operandi down the road is, totalitarianism, or push for totalitarian government. There's a saying that power corrupts, but absolute power corrupts absolutely. So there's a saying, power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely. So I just asked the question. People like to debate, fight back and forth, and that's also another trick they've used between the Republican and Democratic Party. And always the reason I say, even though technically I'm not a registered voter, I have not been a registered voter since 2004 when I canceled my voter registration. I actually checked a week or two ago. I checked on it because I heard a lady that woke me up to this some years ago said they could re-register you. So actually it had been some years. I double checked and they said they couldn't even find me in the system. They even ran a check on my address and said, yep, they said you're not in our system. I said, okay, cool. I went to the Department of Elections in my area. So I still pay attention because it's still important, but I commend those who do vote. But the reason I know it seems like I do lean more to the right than I do the left or conservatism, because they still support the nuclear family structure. The agenda with Democrats or leftists is they've been heavily infiltrated. If you can't see that, and I've talked to leftist Democrats myself personally, when I've been on Telegram and I asked someone the obvious question, I said, which political party is pushing the agenda to get rid of the family structure? And she easily said the Democrats. I said, oh, you can see that. See, I do my own studies. And, I didn't need to say more, but just think about it. Which political party? So isn't it hypocritical? There's a lot of Democrats, black Democrats, that call themselves Christian or born again, filled with the Holy Ghost, God-fearing, all of this, want to try to convince me to come to church, but they heavily support the Democratic Party's agenda, or they vote Democrat each election and call them the lesser of two evils. Make it make sense. No, they're not, in my opinion. The Republicans have their problems. Yes, they do, but they're not heavily into pushing their neighborhoods. I look across the country, many liberal cities, the crime rates statistically are high. Notice liberals are trying to disarm you. They want to ban your guns when crime is on the rise at a time that crime is unprecedented. And a lot of times these new laws that they pass has really nothing to do, or not as much preventing public safety. It's just more of a headache for law-abiding citizens, because we know criminals, regardless, are not going to follow the rules. People who are going to commit crimes or criminals, they're not going. This is a fact. This is unequivocally proven. This is an unequivocal fact. Criminals do not follow the law. Why do Democrats create rules to punish law-abiding citizens? Once again, this is obviously, see, I keep it practical. I keep it simple, going back to the basics. Make it make sense. So no, the Republican Party overall, if I had to choose the two, is the lesser of two evils. Even though they are being compromised to a degree, there's a lot of establishment. There's rhinos, Republican in name only, I'm aware of. Establishment folks, or neocons. They call neoconservatives. They're actually in the closeted Democrats, by the way. Yes, those do exist. But overall, I was telling a relative at one time, they have something called a Freedom Caucus. And this video isn't about pushing politics, but I'm saying look at the overall agenda to help you understand. The elites are using the Democratic Party to push their agendas and things. And there's a lot of, I can't go over everything. I don't have my notes in front of me. So I'm just going off the top of the head, what I know, what I see, what you guys can easily see in the mainstream media. We know there's bad actors. I was going to say earlier, the one guy, he was saying in this video, who I was referencing earlier, that it's the government that was behind these cell phone power outages that happened. I said, yeah, to a degree, but I told a friend of mine, it sounds more conspiratorial when one says the government. So let me clarify. Believe there's still good men and women who still work or serve in our government, maybe not a lot, but it's been infiltrated. Understand where I'm coming from, because if you know you serve in the military, just like the police, there's a chain of command. You have to follow orders. Similarly, there's a rank and file with politicians. They take orders, but they're also paid off. So we have to ask the question: are they truly serving the people? And when you vote for a politician, do you get a return on your investment? That's another thing to ask. By the way, that's being convoluted, and there's always a new scheme. Every election, there's always they come up with a new scheme. Notice YouTube recently has been banning a lot of people that are not outright conservative, but they might be in a different genre or discipline, but they lean more to the conservative side, and they have been getting rid of a lot of those channels or been censoring them because they're not going along with the agenda. You think that's a coincidence? So this is obviously, when you go back to the basics and you just look at the straight facts, guys, you see there's obviously agenda. Hold on for a second. Okay, I'm back. So part of the update, so I was getting heavily, but explaining my points, dealing with why politics is still important, why I still pay attention. Then let me say this: even though I'm not a registered voter, there is ways, and I know those that work political campaigns and stuff, they make a lot of money in some instances. And they say they're easily able to tell you, oh, it's very hypocritical that you don't vote. Or you don't vote, they'll say, oh, that's a vote for Trump, which is still stupid and ridiculous, because you also have independents people vote for. There's always like a third option, even though you know that the Green Party or the independents are not going to win. It's going to come down to whoever the main front runner is for the Democratic or the Republican national primaries, or whatever they call it, between those two. But you have these other two categories. So that's why it doesn't make sense when someone says they just don't vote at all. But make sure if you don't vote, terminate your voter registration, because that's a contract behind the scenes. Now, I want to say I respect the process of voting, but me personally, I don't want to be attached to the negative consequences that come with that, because that is a contract, by the way. And I do plan on down the road, while I was considering part of this update, is renewing my Zoom membership so I can share my screen. Because when I can share my screen, the reason that's important, I can provide a lot more evidence or insight into what I'm teaching, what I'm sharing, other than supporting documents that I have in my physical possession. If I show myself on camera, which I've done in the past, if I go live, that I've done in the past. I know lately I've done a lot of these type of videos through StreamYard, because StreamYard, I'm still able to access this larger channel, by the way. But remember, I can't log into my back office over on this channel, by the way. So that means I can't, if you guys comment, I can't comment from this particular channel if I was to try to respond. So just understand that that's what happened with this channel. The only reason I can still do videos somehow, because this channel was linked to my backup channel, which was my smaller channel, that got banned or removed from YouTube. It wasn't, I won't say banned, but removed from YouTube. And they didn't even give me a 3 strikes warning. Where I told you guys the story right before June of last year. By the way, that's why I remember I got off work. I got an email, and I could not log in. I didn't know what was going on. Whenever I clicked YouTube, it still let me log in my email. But when I went to go log into my YouTube address that's connected to the email, a message would pop up. And I did contact YouTube tech support. They were hard to get rid of, which is AKA Google. It's not user friendly, by the way. If you guys want to know, it's a big headache. I'm not a famous person where I could hire people. So it's a lot harder. They don't tell you this for people who are running the whole channel by themselves. You know, it's a lot more you have to go through versus famous people. They make things sound like it's easy for people to start off from scratch for the first time. Don't believe that. There's some group that did a study some years ago and found out that it's actually easier when people are already top middle class, rich or wealthy, have money. They don't have to spend as much time as somebody starting from the ground up or scratch to do something. Because, you know, we know time equals money. I don't remember the group that did this study, but someone looked into it because you had a thing that was, you know, in the media or was being pushed on social media. You know how they have these different like TikTok challenges or whatever the thing is going on at the time. And I noticed during this time period, you had a lot of entertainers or people who are some not talking trash about the average person saying, see, if I could do it, then you could do it. But they don't tell you it's not what you know, but who you know. And someone told me recently, I saw someone put this in a comment, it's not just who you know, but who you blow. So that's why certain people have it easier than others. And I paid my dues behind the scenes. I worked hard for the information that I know. And I want to reiterate to you guys, I'm also an insider, by the way. I've gone over that in the past. I'm somebody who had an inside look, was part of a prosperity program. If you guys remember that deals with the global currency reset, that was related to. Remember the prosperity programs? There were multiple ones. I go way back. I remember that information. There's been some people that have died, that have passed on as we've been waiting. But just to give, when I gave my opinion, because someone came commented on my Instagram page and said once again they were under the channel Adam.cast. And I always notice why these same people don't show a real face, or you click on the account, it's set to private. You know, so I have the right to at the same time to ignore you because I don't know who you are. That's a form of what they call trolling. If you want to have a real honest discussion, real debate, just show your face, show who you really are, because other than that, you're a coward. When I'm more credible because I've shown my face in the past multiple times. I've done videos showing my face, despite the videos that were removed by YouTube as well. Some of them I put on my Rumble account. I only still have the 4 that's over there. I still have to upload or migrate a lot of the other videos over to my Rumble account. But that's another thing they've done, by the way. So I told you guys, get on other platforms as well. But because YouTube is still a very large platform, I have a large reach over here. That's why I still do videos from this channel, in case you're wondering, from time to time. But that may, in the near future, may dwindle down so I can build my smaller channel up and put a lot of my content over there. So I just want you guys to know, if you guys don't hear from me or you see while I'm doing my action-packed videos, if I ever build the momentum back, just be on standby. And I get over there, you guys will know, you know, to check me out over my newer channel at Dorsey's Resource 873. But this person commented on my Instagram channel. They say, oh, you're still pushing the dinar thing. And once again, I'm just giving my opinion. They've changed a lot of things when it comes to the global currency reset, guys. This thing I know is real. I gave very credible evidence. And in the near future, I'm going to do a video about it. And I said, I planned this many years ago. If this thing hasn't happened yet, I was going to show my actual receipts that I have from banks, even not just for the dinar, but the dong. Even a letter I got from, a lot of people didn't know about this, but there was a foreign currency exchange place. There was 2 different ones in Birmingham, Michigan, which is like an upscale suburb north of Detroit, like northeast part of Detroit, very upscale area. 2 different foreign currency exchange places. Now, one of them told me when I called them some years ago, few years back, or it's more than a few years now. They told me they stopped selling the dinar in August of 2014. One of them. I don't know if the other one. I haven't been to the other location in a long time. I knew the lady over there. I knew her name. I'm not going to say, by the way, and let's call. I'll kind of leave it at. I was going to say a little bit more, but a lot of people didn't even know about the brick and mortar locations. I'm the one who I shared that with someone, and the word got to someone else who does a really big call or whatever. where people were only buying them online or through those sites when Dinar Banker was up at one time, and then there's other sites that are out there at one time. They didn't know when I had my sources, we knew about the brick and mortar locations that sold foreign currency, by the way, other than just the banks that people picked them up from. So there was credible evidence. If this was a scam, how in the freaking world, question for Adam.cast, whoever you are, how in the world would this not be legitimate? Wouldn't the banks get in trouble? Wouldn't that be a violation if they were selling foreign currency, which I seen it with my own eyes. Even a currency booklet that one of the tellers had, she was flipping through years ago, even though her bosses came over to me and lied right in front of my face, because at one time, I guess they were briefed to tell people, it was like, we don't deal with the dinar. Then I just had a subscriber that I know behind the scenes that personally told me recently, like a few days ago, not too long ago, that she's seeing commercials. Now, I've never even heard about commercials that are showing about, she said she saw a commercial about the dinar, and she was describing it, trying to remember. She had a tough time, and I said I wouldn't be surprised, because I worked with these guys who were from a foreign country some years ago, and they were welders, and they were telling me how they noticed how their news showed things that our news over here didn't, so they could brainwash or control the minds of the people over here, get them to think a certain way. I've known this for a long time, and this was back in 2008. I was working at a steel factory on the east side of Detroit, and that area has since changed, by the way. I had to go through there when I started this detail a couple years ago, a year and a half ago, when I became a supervisor. I had to travel to that part of town. I noticed a lot has drastically changed. That steel factory is now some type of auto repair depot or scrap yard or something over there. It used to be a steel factory. And there was a couple guys, one of them used to come and I used to talk to them, and they were, I don't remember which country they were from. They were real cool. They were like, it was a father and two of his sons. And one of them used to drive a Hummer. They were all cool. And we would talk. Sometimes we got into talking about, the powers that be, you can say. And they were telling me that when they looked at, I guess, the channel from their homeland, or, the channels they were used to watching, they noticed how the news over here would not push the same information, because a lot of news agencies, the anchors are reading from teleprompters. So they would lose their jobs if they told you the truth. So that's why I tell you guys, also follow the independent media. When you guys hear me push ban.video, I'm not pushing propaganda or conspiracy theory. Compare notes with what they're saying to what the mainstream media is telling. And you're going to find out a better perspective, as far as a better assessment, as far as what's going on, what the powers that be are lying to you about. Because in the mainstream media, you can't expect them to tell you the full truth. Now, they'll report on things, real things, but how far in depth is ABC World News Tonight with David Murrow, or NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt? Or when they told you about what happened with the Navy SEALs, a lot of people are skeptical. What happened, once again, about that boat accident? Is that really what happened? Do you accept the official story? Think about that for a second. So that's why I always check Brighteon.com. I'll check ban.video. What other ones? BitChute out there, Odyssey, Library. There's multiple independent social media platforms. You have another version of Twitter out there called Getter. You have Frank Speech, Mike Lindell's platform. You have Trump's platform, TruthSocial.com. Because they shut Parler down. I don't know what happened with Parler. They were supposed to be coming back. Parler was growing too. Seemed to be a good platform, and man, these people are something else. They destroyed that. But fortunately, you have a lot of other backup social media. If you don't like Twitter, or you're more conservative leaning, and keep in mind, even if you are a liberal, a lot of these platforms like Rumble they got a lot of stuff for comedians, stuff just like YouTube has. It's grown exponentially. So it's got something over there for everybody, by the way, despite what your political views are, or what, category you're leaning, because YouTube is ran by the cabal, Google, their parent company, Alphabet. They're heavily connected to the New World Order. So with the one world government, They want to push a cashless society. They want central bank-backed digital currencies. I hear this alleged cell phone outage as a pretest for something worse that may be coming. We're looking at potential food shortages. As I mentioned, you want to look into dehydrated meals, storable foods. By the way, they want to create artificial scarcity. You know, they create the problem, Hegelian dialectic, problem, reaction, solution.